All right, everyone, get ready for this. We're diving deep into the world of software testing automation tools. You hear all about it and you're trying to get a grasp, right?
Right.
On the absolute best tools out there, the top tools for 2025. And let me tell you,
Absolutely.
understanding this stuff, this is going to streamline your testing process like you wouldn't believe.
It really is. It's like,
Just imagine being able to test faster.
yeah,
Catch those pesky bugs earlier.
early.
And ultimately, you deliver a higher quality product, a better product.
Yeah.
And it's all thanks to having the right tools in your belt.
Exactly. It's like having a superpower, you know?
It is.
You can test scenarios that would be just impossible to do manually, and you can do them way faster.
Exactly. Speed and efficiency. That's the name of the game.
Absolutely.
So we've got a ton of research articles all about 5 of the hottest automation tools out there.
Okay.
We've got Selenium, Cypress, Playwright, Appium, and JMeter. We're going to break it all down. Strengths, weaknesses, where to use them best.
I like it.
Ideal use cases, so you can make a good decision about which ones to explore.
Awesome. Let's do it.
All right, let's jump in.
Let's jump in.
First up, we've got the veteran of the group.
Okay.
Selenium. This has been around forever.
Yeah.
It's still going strong, still very relevant.
It is. It's a classic for a reason.
Open source, incredibly flexible, and it supports a bunch of programming languages.
That's right.
Java, Python, C#, Ruby, you name it.
Yeah.
Why is that such a big deal?
Well, think about it. Your team, you might be using Python.
Right.
Another team down the hall, they're all about Java.
Yeah.
Selenium doesn't care, doesn't matter.
It's agnostic. It's like a universal translator almost.
It is. It bridges those gaps, lets everyone work with the same tool.
And it's huge, especially in larger organizations.
It is. And then on top of that, you got compatibility with all the major browsers. Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Edge. You can make sure your web application
It's so important.
works flawlessly for everyone, no matter what they're using.
That cross-browser compatibility, it's a must-have these days.
Absolutely.
Nobody wants a website that breaks in different browsers.
It's 2025, come on.
Right, come on.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got flexible, compatible, but what about ease of use?
Right.
Is it beginner-friendly? Can I just jump in?
So it does have, I'd say, a bit of a learning curve.
Okay.
Think of it like learning to drive a stick shift,
Yeah.
It takes a little more effort to get the hang of it.
Okay.
But once you do, you have way more control, much more precision.
So it's powerful, but there's a little bit of a barrier to entry.
Selenium's power comes from its flexibility, but that also means there's a lot to learn. Luckily, it has a huge community, really active.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of documentation, forums, tutorials to help you.
So it might be a bit intimidating at first, but with the right resources, you can master Selenium.
You can, absolutely.
And that community support is invaluable, especially starting out.
It's a lifesaver. It really is.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Okay, which one we got?
We got Cypress.
Cypress, all right.
This one feels a bit more modern, maybe a little bit, I don't know.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of an edge to it.
A little edge.
It's sleek, it's fast.
Sleek.
It's definitely geared towards developers who are building, dynamic, front-end heavy applications.
Modern web apps.
Modern web apps, exactly.
The JavaScript, the React.
Exactly, all that good stuff.
Okay.
One of the coolest things about Cypress is its real-time reloading and debugging.
Whoa, what is that? Real-time reloading and debugging.
So imagine you're writing a test.
Yeah.
You can see the results, instantly.
Right there, as you type.
As you make changes.
That's incredible.
It's a game changer for developers who want rapid feedback.
Okay.
And want to catch bugs early in that development cycle.
I can see how that would speed things up tremendously.
It really does. It's a huge time saver.
It's like having a live preview of your code as you work on it.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
But doesn't Cypress have some limitations when it comes to, browser support?
That's right. So while Cypress it excels with Chrome and Chromium-based browsers.
Okay.
Its support for, say, Firefox and Safari is still kind of evolving.
Still catching up.
Still catching up, yeah.
Okay, so super fast, super modern, but maybe not the best choice if you need, that rock-solid cross-browser.
Right, if you need to be everywhere. Maybe not the best.
Across the board, yeah.
But if your focus is on Chrome,
yeah,
and especially if you're already working with JavaScript,
yeah,
Cypress is a serious contender.
Cypress is a serious contender.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
All right, what do we got?
Playwright.
Playwright, all right.
Developed by Microsoft, this one is gaining a lot of buzz.
Yeah, it's making waves.
It's making waves.
Yeah, it's a rising star.
What's the scoop?
So Playwright is addressing some of those challenges we see with Selenium.
Okay.
Particularly when it comes to testing those really complex modern web applications.
Like we talked about with the Shadow DOM and the iframe.
Exactly. Remember we talked about Selenium's kind of struggles with that?
Yeah.
Playwright handles those with ease.
Okay.
Another big win, it has built-in support for parallel testing.
Parallel testing, what is that?
That means you can run multiple tests at the same time across different browsers.
Oh, wow.
Or even different devices.
So it's speeding up your testing process tremendously.
Dramatically, yeah.
So if I'm understanding this correctly,
yeah.
Playwright's like Selenium on steroids.
That's a good way to put it. It's like,
okay,
it takes a lot of the core concepts of Selenium,
right,
and brings them into, the modern age of web development.
Okay.
It offers that same cross-browser compatibility.
Good.
But adds features designed for handling the complexities of today's web apps.
All right, I'm definitely intrigued, but since it's a newer tool,
yeah,
I'm guessing maybe the community support isn't as robust as Selenium's.
That's a valid point. The community's growing like crazy.
Yeah.
But it's still not as mature as Selenium.
Yeah.
So you might run into situations where you need to dig a little deeper to find solutions or workarounds. But the good news is Playwright's documentation is excellent.
Okay.
And the core team is very responsive to feedback and bug reports.
So Playwright, powerful, modern alternative to Selenium,
Yeah.
especially if you're working with, the cutting edge web technologies.
Absolutely.
Just be prepared to maybe do a bit more exploration on your own.
Right.
Yeah.
If you run into some roadblocks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enough about web apps. Let's talk mobile.
Mobile. Right.
What do we have for those little devices that rule our lives?
So this is where Appium shines. It's the go-to tool for automating tests for both iOS and Android apps.
Oh, nice.
And here's the kicker. It works with native apps, hybrid apps, and even mobile web apps.
Wow.
All without needing any changes to the app's code.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
That sounds a little too good to be true.
Right.
So you're saying I can write one set of tests, and Appium just makes them work on iOS and Android.
That's the beauty of Appium.
Amazing.
Think of it as like a universal translator for your mobile app tests.
Okay.
You write them once, and Appium does all the magic behind the scenes to make them work on different platforms.
That's huge.
It's huge.
Especially for teams that have to test on multiple platforms.
Right. You don't want to maintain separate test scripts for everything.
Yeah. No.
It's a nightmare.
All right, I'm sold.
Yeah.
Appium sounds like a must-have for any mobile app developer.
I think so.
But are there any downsides? Nothing's perfect, right?
Well, one thing to keep in mind is Appium can be a bit slower than some other mobile testing tools, especially when testing on real devices. It's got to communicate with the device, the app, and that can add some overhead.
Right. There's a bit of a delay there.
A little bit, yeah. And then for more complex testing scenarios, you might need to do some extra configuration or set up some dependencies.
Okay.
So it can get a little tricky.
It's like driving a luxury SUV.
Okay. I like that.
It's powerful, comfortable, handles a variety of terrains.
Yeah.
But it might not be the fastest or the most fuel efficient.
Right. There's a trade-off.
There's a trade-off. Okay.
Yeah.
Last but not least, we've got JMeter.
JMeter. All right.
This one is all about making sure our applications can handle the heat.
Yes. This is the stress test.
Stress test, performance testing, load testing.
All of that.
Making sure things don't crash and burn when hundreds, thousands of users are hitting your app at once.
Exactly.
JMeter is a beast when it comes to performance testing.
It is. It's a workhorse.
It supports a wide range of protocols.
Yeah, HTTP, FTP, SOAP, you name it.
So you can test various types of applications and services.
That's right.
And it lets you run distributed tests across multiple machines.
That's right.
To simulate those massive loads.
Exactly.
So it's like having a virtual army of users.
It is. It's like unleashing the horde.
Yeah. Attacking your app.
Attacking it, see if it can survive.
See if it can withstand it. And then JMeter gives you these detailed reports.
Yes, it does.
That show you exactly where any bottlenecks are.
Exactly. So you can optimize.
That sounds incredibly valuable.
It is. It's essential.
Especially for applications that need to handle large volumes of traffic.
Especially, yeah.
You mentioned earlier that every tool has its trade-offs.
Right.
What should we be aware of with JMeter?
So JMeter, it can be a bit intimidating for beginners.
Okay.
It's a powerful tool, but it's got a lot of features.
Right.
And it can be, a little overwhelming at first.
So maybe not the best tool to just jump into without some guidance.
Yeah, you might want to do a little bit of reading first.
Watch some tutorials.
Yeah, watch some tutorials, exactly.
So get a feel for it.
Yeah, dip your toes in the water.
Dip your toes in the water.
Don't just dive in head first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it takes time and effort to master JMeter.
It does.
But if performance testing is crucial to your process, it's worth the investment.
It's absolutely worth it, yeah.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. We've explored 5 powerful automation tools.
We have.
Each with its own strengths and ideal use cases.
That's right.
But how do you choose the right one?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
That is the question.
It really depends on your needs and your context.
Right.
What kind of applications are you testing?
Yeah.
What are your team skills and expertise?
Those are great starting points.
Yeah.
We'll dive deeper into choosing the right tool in the next part.
Absolutely.
But for now, let's take a quick break and come back refreshed, ready to tackle those decision-making challenges.
Sounds good to me. I need a coffee refill.
I need a coffee refill, too.
Let's do it. Welcome back, everyone. It's amazing, how this software development landscape, it just keeps evolving, keeps changing.
It's true. It's crazy.
Like just a few years ago.
Yeah.
The tools we're talking about today.
Yeah.
It would seem like science fiction.
It's true. It's true.
The complexity of modern web apps, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, it is.
Dynamic user interfaces.
Yeah.
Real-time interactions.
Real-time, everything's got to be fast.
Yeah, and new technologies, they just pop up left and right.
Left and right.
It's a lot to keep up with.
It is, even for the seasoned developers out there.
Even for the veterans, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why having the right testing tools
Oh, absolutely.
is more crucial now than ever.
Couldn't agree more.
If your tools can't keep pace with the innovation,
Yeah.
you're going to be left behind.
Left in the dust.
Absolutely.
It's like trying to navigate, a bustling city with an outdated map.
Yeah, you'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a frustrating and inefficient journey.
Absolutely.
And let's not forget, of course, the explosion of mobile apps. I mean, we're living in a mobile-first world now.
We are.
And the expectations for those apps they're sky high.
Sky high. They got to be fast, reliable, intuitive. Nobody's got patience for a laggy app.
No, or a confusing interface. No way.
No way.
So, and that's where Appium really comes in.
Yeah.
It empowers developers to test their apps rigorously.
Okay.
Both on iOS and Android.
Okay.
Ensuring a seamless user experience.
You mentioned earlier that Appium, it doesn't require any modifications to the app's code.
Right.
For testing, can you unpack that a bit more? Why is that such a big deal?
It's a game changer because it streamlines that whole testing process.
Okay.
Without Appium developers, they'd have to create separate test scripts for each platform, which would be incredibly time-consuming and error-prone.
So instead of writing, 2 sets of tests, one for iOS, one for Android, you can write one that works on both.
That's the idea.
It's amazing.
You write your tests once.
Yeah.
And Appium handles all those intricacies of translating those tests to work on both iOS and Android.
That's got to be a huge time saver.
It's massive.
Allowing those developers to focus on, what they do best, building great apps.
Exactly.
Makes perfect sense. It's like having a bilingual assistant.
I like it.
Who can just effortlessly communicate with both iOS and Android.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, shifting gears a bit.
Okay.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on Playwright's growing popularity.
Yeah.
It's a relatively new tool compared to Selenium.
Yeah.
But it seems to be, gaining traction very, very quickly.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. Playwright's addressing those limitations that we see with Selenium, especially when it comes to testing those modern web apps that are pushing the boundaries, of what's possible in the browser.
We talked about, Selenium struggles with Shadow DOM and iframes.
Right.
Playwright handles that smoothly, right?
Yeah, Playwright's built from the ground up to handle those complex scenarios.
Okay.
And it has this fantastic feature. It's called auto-weighting.
Auto-weighting.
Yeah. So it automatically waits for elements to appear or actions to complete.
Okay.
Which makes your tests way more reliable.
So it takes the guesswork out of timing and waiting for things to load.
Exactly.
Oh, I like that.
And it also has that built-in support for parallel testing.
Right.
That we touched on earlier.
Can you remind us how that works and why it's so beneficial?
Yeah, so parallel testing lets you run multiple tests at the same time across different browsers or devices. So instead of running them, one after the other,
sequentially,
you run them all at once.
Oh, wow.
concurrently.
Okay.
Which can really reduce the overall testing time.
So it's like having like a whole team of testers.
Yeah, it's like an army.
An army of testers working in parallel.
Yeah, instead of just one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that speed and efficiency, I mean, that's essential these days, you know.
In this fast-paced.
Time to market is everything.
Absolutely.
And Playwright helps teams get their product out the door faster without compromising on that quality.
That's huge. Yeah. Okay, we've talked a lot about the benefits of these tools.
Right.
But let's get real for a second.
Right.
What are some potential downsides?
Or challenges?
Yeah, the gotchas. The gotchas that people should be aware of.
Yeah, I mean, every tool has trade-offs, right?
Right.
For example, Selenium, incredibly flexible, huge community.
Yeah.
But it can also be quite complex to learn and to use effectively.
So there is a bit of a learning curve.
There is a bit of a huddle there.
With Selenium, what about the other tools?
Yeah.
Any gotchas we should be aware of?
Yeah, so with Cypress, the main limitation is its focus on JavaScript and TypeScript.
Oh, okay.
So if your team primarily uses other programming languages,
right,
Cypress might not be the best fit.
It's a bit more niche.
A little bit more niche, yeah.
Okay.
What about Playwright? Anything there?
Yeah, Playwright, anything potential users should keep in mind?
I think Playwright's biggest challenge is its newness. I mean, it's gaining popularity rapidly. Yeah. But it's still not as mature as something like Selenium.
Right. It's still...
You might find yourself in situations where there isn't as much community support.
Okay.
Or like readily available solutions.
Right.
For a specific problem.
So it's kind of like exploring like a new and exciting territory.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot of potential.
Yeah.
But you might have to like forge your own path at times.
Might have to blaze a trail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Appium?
Appium, yeah.
Any hidden complexities with mobile app testing?
So one thing to be aware of with Appium is that it can be slower than some other mobile testing tools. Okay. Especially when testing on real devices. Right. Again, it's got to communicate with the device, with the app, and it can, add some overhead. Right. And then for those really complex testing scenarios, you might need to really delve into configuration and dependencies. Right. Which can add complexity.
So it's powerful.
Yeah.
But there might be times where you need to roll up your sleeves and
get your hands dirty.
Tinker a little bit to get everything working just right.
Exactly.
What about JMeter?
JMeter, yeah. Anything there.
The main hurdle there is really the learning curve.
It's powerful, like we said, for performance and load testing.
Yeah.
But it's got a lot of features. It can be a little intimidating for beginners.
It sounds like it's got a steep learning curve.
It does.
But a high reward for those who put in the effort.
That's a great way to put it. It's like a professional grade audio mixer.
Okay.
It can produce some amazing results.
Yeah.
But you need to invest that time and effort.
Right.
To master all the knobs and settings.
The nuances.
Yeah, all the nuances.
Okay, so we've explored the strengths and the weaknesses of these 5 powerful automation tools.
Yeah.
We've talked about Selenium's flexibility, Cypress's speed, Playwright's modern approach, Appium's mobile mastery,
that's good,
and JMeter's performance testing prowess. Powerhouse. Now comes the tough part. Yeah. Choosing the right tool.
Right.
For your specific needs.
Exactly.
How do you even begin to navigate that decision?
It can be overwhelming. There's so many options.
It can be.
Don't worry. We're going to break it down.
Okay.
We'll make it manageable.
Okay.
So first, you got to think carefully about your testing requirements. And your context. What kind of applications are you testing?
Yeah.
What are your team's skills?
Those are great starting points.
Yeah. What else should we consider?
Think
about your budget.
Okay. Yeah.
Your time constraints.
Right.
Some tools might need more upfront investment in training.
Okay.
Or maybe even infrastructure.
Okay.
And then consider how important is seamless integration with your existing development workflow.
It's got to fit in.
You want a tool that fits into your existing process.
Right.
Not one that makes you reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, no, that's no good.
Yeah.
So it's all about finding that sweet spot.
It is.
Where the tool's capabilities align with your team's needs and resources.
And sometimes the best approach is to experiment.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to try out different tools, see what clicks for you.
That's a great idea.
And your team. You might even discover that different tools are better suited for different types of testing or projects.
It's like, having a toolbox full of specialized tools.
Exactly.
You wouldn't use a hammer.
You wouldn't use a hammer to screw in a screw.
To screw in a screw, right.
Right.
You choose the right tool for the job.
Right tool for the job.
Absolutely.
And building that versatile toolkit, that's essential for any software testing team,
You never know what challenges.
You never know what you're going to face.
You're going to face down the road. So having options is always a good thing.
It's always good to have options.
We'll delve deeper.
We will.
Into choosing the right tool.
Yes.
And building that toolkit in the next section.
Absolutely.
But for now, let's take a moment. Just reflect.
Yeah.
On what we've learned so far.
You take a breath.
It's been quite a journey.
It's been.
Through the world of software testing automation.
We've covered a lot of ground. We have, yeah. It's been quite the journey.
From the veteran Selenium to the rising star Playwright and everything in between.
It has been, yeah. Exploring all these different automation tools. It's fascinating.
It's a whole world out there.
Yeah, and I think one of the key takeaways here is that there's no one size fits all solution.
Right. We've seen that like each tool has its strengths, its weaknesses. Yeah. Selenium, powerful, flexible.
Yep.
But it's got that learning curve.
Right. There's that hurdle.
Cypress, fast, developer friendly, but browser support's still evolving.
Still catching up.
Playwright, modern, efficient, but the community still maturing.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah. Appium, mobile testing champ.
The go-to.
JMeter, performance testing powerhouse.
The workhorse.
So many fantastic options. Like, how do you choose the right tool for your needs?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question, right?
It's like being in a candy store.
Yeah.
Shelves are overflowing with all these delicious treats.
Right.
How do you decide which one to pick?
It's tough.
It is.
I think the first step is to resist that temptation to just grab the shiniest or the most popular option, right?
Yeah.
It's crucial to take a step back.
Okay.
And think about your specific testing requirements and context.
Let's break that down. What are some key factors we should be considering when making this decision?
All right. So first and foremost, you got to think about the type of application you're testing. Are we talking web application, mobile app, desktop application?
Because, like the tools we've talked about.
All right. They're specialized.
They're specialized for different types of apps.
You wouldn't use a screwdriver to hammer in a nail.
Exactly.
Same principle applies to testing tools.
Right. Tool for the job.
Free tool for the job. Yeah. So once you know what type of application you're testing.
Yeah. What's next?
Okay. Then you think about your team.
Okay.
Their skills and expertise.
Right.
Some tools, like Selenium, they require a deeper understanding of programming, automation frameworks.
Yeah.
Others, like Cypress, are a bit more beginner friendly.
Okay.
Maybe require less coding experience.
So if you've got a team of seasoned automation engineers.
Right, the veterans.
Selenium might be a good fit.
Selenium might be the way to go.
But if you're just starting out, Cypress might be more approachable.
Yeah, dip your toes in the water.
A little bit easier, yeah. What about budget?
Budget.
Time constraints.
Always important.
Always important.
Yeah. Some tools might need, more upfront investment in training.
Training, yeah.
Or infrastructure.
Right.
Others might have ongoing licensing costs.
That's right. So you got to factor that in.
Absolutely.
To the decision making.
And time. Time is precious.
It is.
Software development. So some tools might take longer to implement.
Okay.
Or have more complex setup processes.
So choose a tool that can be integrated into your workflow efficiently.
Right. You don't want to slow things down.
All right.
Okay.
So we talked about application type.
We did.
Team skills.
Yeah.
Budget, time constraints. What else?
Think about support.
Okay.
Community engagement.
Okay.
Some tools, like Selenium, they've got massive communities.
Yeah.
Tons of documentation, forums, tutorials.
Very active.
Yeah. Others might have smaller communities.
Right.
Or less readily available resources.
So if you anticipate needing, a lot of help along the way.
Right. If you need that hand-holding. Yeah. Then a tool with a strong community.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Might be a better choice.
And don't forget about integration with your existing development workflow.
Absolutely. You want a tool that plays nicely with your version control system.
Yeah.
Your CI/CD pipelines, all those other tools you're already using.
The goal is to streamline the testing process.
Right. Not create more friction.
Not create more friction, not create more work.
Exactly. And sometimes the best way to find the right tool is to just experiment a bit. Don't be afraid to try different things out. Explore the features, see what works best for your team, for your specific projects.
It's like test driving a few cars.
I like that.
Before you buy one, you got to get a feel for it.
You got to kick the tires a little bit.
Kick the tires, see how it handles.
See if it fits you.
Absolutely.
So, and remember, this whole process of choosing and adopting these automation tools, it's an ongoing journey.
It's not a one-time decision.
It's not, no, things are changing all the time.
That's true. That's true.
The software development landscape is constantly evolving.
We've seen that.
So you got to be flexible and adaptable.
It's not about finding the perfect tool that's going to solve all your problems forever.
Doesn't exist.
Right.
It's about finding the best tool for right now. And being open to exploring new options as your needs change.
Absolutely. As those needs evolve.
Absolutely. And as you gain more experience with automation, you'll develop a better understanding of which tools work best for different situations. You
become a master chef in the kitchen.
Yeah, there you go.
Of software testing automation.
Whipping up those recipes.
You know which spice to add.
Exactly.
For the perfect flavor.
This is a great way to put it.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of software testing automation tools, we want to leave you with one final thought. To ponder away. Think back to the tools we've discussed. Selenium, Cypress, Playwright, Appium, JMeter.
All the heavy hitters.
Which one sparked your interest the most? Which one made you think, hey, I could really use this to improve my testing? Hold on to that feeling.
Hold on to it.
Let it be your guide.
Let it guide you.
Dive into the documentation.
Absolutely.
Explore some tutorials. Maybe try it out. On a small project.
Dip your toes in the water.
And remember, the journey of learning and mastering these tools.
It's an adventure.
It's an ongoing adventure. Embrace the challenge.
Embrace it.
Stay curious and never stop exploring.
Never stop exploring.
The world of software testing automation.
Yeah.
It's full of possibilities.
It is.
With the right tools, the right mindset.
Absolutely.
You can achieve amazing things.
You can.
That's a wrap on this episode of The Deep Dive.
That's it.
We hope you enjoyed the journey.
We hope you learned something.
Feel empowered to level up your testing game.
Level up.
Until next time.
Happy testing.
Happy testing, everyone.